right, Ambitions fans, here we are talking about the episode Since I Lost My Baby. I'm pretty sure that's a Temptation song. Yeah, I think it is. But in any case, yes, I know this video is technically a couple days late, but I am trying my best to get Oval, Sisters, and Ambitions all up on the channel by the end of the week, as opposed to the weekend like I did last week. I think it was a pretty strong episode. Kind of, and honestly, I did watch it live, and I did tweet, but I didn't take notes. So I did rewatch the first 20 minutes. 'Cause I did miss that. But I think what really made this episode strong was the fact that once again, things continue. The wheels keep on turning with the story. I mean, Evan trying to save Joaquin, and the fact that he was kind of scrounging money from multiple accounts to get the $1 million sum in the event that his two guys couldn't find Joaquin by what was it, like 6 p.m. That was kind of like the deadline, no pun intended, on getting him the money. And because of the fact that they sent what was like a video footage of Joaquin being safe, Evan picked up on certain background noises, which led to them finding exactly where he was. Very impressive work. I loved it. That was a great scene. And they brought him back, and Joaquin and Bella, mommy. So I'm glad he's safe and sound. That's one of the good parts of the episode. But going back to the beginning, Amara, my gosh, when she stepped into Evan's office, kind of, if you've missed Ambitions, like you didn't watch the first 10 episodes, she pretty much summarizes everything involving Peters, Evan, Daphne, the guy who was in charge, the one that shot himself, the one who was in charge of moving along, like approving building development, that kind of stuff. All that stuff was wrapped in one package. So just the fact that Amara was on the case was very impressive. And then the fact that she summed it up with Titus and Stephanie being in the same room together. And I think towards the beginning of the episode, we really focused more on the getting Joaquin back scenario, where they're trying to figure out what steps to take next. And then on top of that, figuring out that the body that was at the morgue was not the young boy who they thought it was. So it wasn't Joaquin. Later in the episode, Bella's going off about Evan not trying to give up the money to find their son, while Evan does make valid points where just because we give the money doesn't mean we're going to get our son back. And then after that, I believe Darcia, Evan and Rondell's cousin, shows up, who's helping Rondell through her time of grief as the episode goes on. But I have to jump to the ending here. When Rondell went upstairs and Darcia, flipped the sign from open to close, and I think she didn't lock the door, but she kind of put a crack in it so smoke would go out when she's smoking her cigarette. So apparently she has some kind of scheme going on where I don't know what's going to happen. The fact that she was looking at that article about Peters, is she working with Greg Peters, or does she have a plan to kind of sabotage Thelma's place or whatever, or make it so, hey, Peters, I'm going to deliver Thelma's place to you. So I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but hey, it's like they say, no one screws you over worse than family. Aside from that, I don't believe Carly and Lori were mentioned via Hunter in the episode, but the other story arcs that really went on were Stephanie obtaining, I guess you could say, what would be the 1987 version of dirty tweets and emails that are racist tweets and emails that are literally going to lead to Hunter's fall. And yeah, what was it, 1987? There were emails because Titus sent over a bunch of documents and emails, so Stephanie's team was looking through them. And apparently $750 million, my God. So Hunter is mad about this, but to be honest, it's one of those situations where Titus is going over the options, where Hunter is under the impression of, what was it, just because I pay you like $500,000 a year. So damn, Titus making over 500 grand a year working for Pure Ford company. But the thing is, just because you pay a lawyer a certain amount of money doesn't mean that they're going to be able to defend you from everything. If you've done some asinine things, well, then again, look at the day and age we live in. Money doesn't protect you always. Sometimes it's the color of your skin that plays a fact. But you know what? Let's not talk about that in this video. But Titus is trying to figure out a way for this to work out, but he's saying you might want to settle. Hunter doesn't want to. So to be honest, I don't favor Pure for it. But speaking of Stephanie, I was talking about how Stephanie wasn't really herself. She was really the effects of Senior's death and wanting to avenge him and things like that, and trying to be there for Rondell. And she wasn't really that evil. The one time she did try to put on a facade is when Amara called her out in the restaurant, and she called her pathetic and walked out. And as soon as she did, you can see Stephanie's demeanor just completely change because she's still hurt. This episode, it feels like she's making up from that. It's like she was literally going around town cackling along the way, pretty much putting people in their place, like cocky over potentially winning over Hunter and Titus, and even got in Titus's daughter's face with some shade. And my gosh, I'm just thinking, and even Bella going over there trying to help out with the whole situation involving the contract for Valentina. What was it, Valentina's fashion company? But Bella pretty much pushed her out because of the fact that the kidnapper was on the phone with her. So she's pretty much, just painting the town red with her, slanderous attitude. But I think they're really building up Stephanie for a fall, because I think it might come down to, okay, you know what, Titus, what I'm going to do, because, I tried to get with you, but you rejected me. No, what was it? You got Amara working one angle who could potentially bring down Evan and Peters in one fell swoop, leading to Stephanie being involved as well, whereas Stephanie feels like she has the upper hand against Titus and Hunter based off the information she got from the email. So it seems to me that Stephanie might think she's about to win and take Pure for everything they've got, but before you know it, the underdog Amara might end up leading to Stephanie, Evan pretty much losing everything they have as well. So it's pretty much going to be like a double-edged sword there, where it's like, just because you think you have one opponent taken care of, the person who you don't even suspect of being a threat will end up taking you down as well. So I do feel like they really are building for something bigger to happen as the season progresses, and it's getting pretty good. And aside from that, I want to make sure I covered all the good points, but I think I'm not just kind of rushing the video because I didn't take notes, but I really wanted to highlight the things that really stuck out to me, because the other plot point was Titus finding the pregnancy test, and I did a video on it. I already guessed that it was the daughter, and I was correct, but she's not pregnant. But it turns out she is going back to school, and the thing that really got me was the fact that, it looks like Titus and Amara are going to try to make things work, but then she points out that there are cameras. So I'm like, wait. She knows? So Damien's still watching. And that's it, right? I think that's it. Yeah, that's all I got to say. What do I give this episode? Solid 8 out of 10. Because of the suspense of saving Joaquin. I'm just wondering if Bella's friend is going to be traced back to being involved in this situation. And what's going to happen to her as a result of that. Yeah, solid episode. So with that being said, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Like the video, it really does help out. And thankfully, I finished this review in a timely manner, so I need to edit. That way I'll have Sister's Ambitions of the Oval up at the same time. And I'll catch you all next week.